very versatile
I
personality,
mean,
I should say.
maybe I'm especially musician, but with lot of circumstances, I was able to be manager for my first band. Then I learned from that. Then I studied cultural policies. Then I was conducting two festivals in Tunisia, and I also work here as consultant for
Right.
Ministry of Culture, and also member of the jury in different countries like Morocco, South Africa recently, and Abu Dhabi Cultural Foundation also. I'm going to work.
Fantastic. Good morning, Imed. It's my great pleasure to have you as my guest on Chat with Chithra. How are you today?
Good morning, and thank you very, very much for your invitation now. And,
You are an amazing musician, from what I understand. And as our global ambassador for the World Music Conference, you are a musician and a composer. So you originally come from Tunisia.
Absolutely. I came in Montpellier, in south of France, in 2001 to study translation at the University of Montpellier. At the same time, of course, I'm a musician, and I started also my career here in France, in this city, with a band called Les Boucaques, which was doing a kind of rock, Oriental fusion with Western Oriental mix. With them, I did like a tour for 35 countries, among them
Fantastic.
European, non-European countries, and then I started also doing my career as a manager and as a researcher in cultural policies.
Such a very, very multifaceted role, I must say. You are originally a musician, but I happen to see a few videos on YouTube which shows you playing a percussion. So
Yes.
how did this passion for percussion really start for you? I mean, was it from a very young age, or how did it all start?
Well, it started from an early age, like
Right.
so many countries, like Tunisia, in
Mm,
terms of the culture of percussion is very present in our
mm,
countries in North Africa, Africa, South America, India, where we can learn, we can hear percussion in the street, we can hear rhythm in the city, in the village, in the weddings.
absolutely.
So yes, I felt in love with an instrument called darbuka, which is the main instrument I play, and I was actually trying to doing theater, but I saw a small concert in the college before the playwright, and I started learning that like this autodidact.
Mm,
And yeah, slowly I went to study in Tunis at the university. Then I met some real ustad of percussion, and I learned from them. And then I came to Montpellier. Then I traveled to Iran, to Turkey, south of Turkey, to Mumbai, and to
mm.
also Latin America to learn all the school way, which is really meeting the people in the ground and learning from them the techniques of percussion. And I really appreciate a lot in France as a melting pot society in which you can find these different cultures in the same country here in France. Like you can meet Senegalese,
Absolutely, isn't it?
you can meet Cuban percussionists, and yes, this is how it started. Yeah.
So that's amazing because once you started having an interest towards, did you say it's darbuka or is it kind of a djembe?
Yes, it's darbuka. Yeah, I mean jambe, darbuka, and all this. I worked a lot on the traveling sounds and the traveling percussions that they came from Rajasthani
Yeah.
travelers
Mm.
in 18th century, 10th century, from a lot of tribes and gypsies who took with them a
Yeah.
lot of instruments. I mean, percussion travel and music travel a lot. So what we can find in Jaipur, we can find it in Rio de Janeiro, because and then through that travel, through that journey, there is a lot of influences. Yes, so the darbuka is a Middle Eastern, North African, but I think also African
Yeah, I think it has got a very unique sound, right? I feel it's a very, very unique instrument. And having said that, you traveling to various countries and into the interiors and exploring the various rhythmic patterns, or their origin of percussion in different countries, would have given you a great exposure, right? And
Exactly.
it would perhaps give you a lot of ideas as to how well we can collaborate. And
Meeting other musicians and fusing with them between inverted commas, it's usually it was and is still my passion, because I really find that as a musician, as artist, you should meet people, you should make the first step to them and explore the other cultures. And music, it's one part of the culture, but there is also, when we go to Brazil, we will eat in the musicians or the painter's house or the writer house. So we will know culinary culture, we'll know also the sound, we'll know the furniture, we'll know traditions. And this is how I really appreciate our work on the ground, and why the traveling percussion is very important for me. And I had the first meeting here in Montpellier, for example, with the band called Ziskakan from La Réunion Island in the Indian Pacific. Uh, the small island next to Madagascar,
mm,
La Réunion. And we did an album there, and we found out that there is a lot of similarity between the rhythm there and in North Africa. And it was
nice.
easy. I met just the singer, and we started recording. Then I went there, and it
Mm,
was one of the first uh, fusion or direct contact collaboration. And then, of course, I started working with flamenco musician from Eastern Europe. Then recently, I released an album in England with Justin Adams, the guitar player who worked so many years with Robert Plant.
mhm.
I'm still working with Justin, by the way. So my first album in 2014 was released in the UK.
All right.
Justin Adams is a guitar player and producer, and he worked along with Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, and he
Right.
produced Chinari Wen, he produced Rashid Taha and Sinead O'Connor, and yeah, he's a great, great musician and composer.
Fantastic. You launched a few music albums and you have collaborated with various music organizations.
In Perpignan, in the south of France, yes.
All right,
Well,
right. That
also
was
collaborated with Conservatoire in Paris, in Dijon, as I did master class and workshop. But I collaborated with Perpignan, with the students of the Conservatoire, and the composition were written to them, and we did a nice collaboration for 10 days. I did the same in Jerusalem, and with Edward Said Orchestra in Jerusalem and some other cities in Palestine.
mm.
The same I did in Tunis and Jordan and in Oslo and Hamburg, and yeah.
You have
So
traveled
the
widely
idea,
and you've taken this to very many places.
yes, we had the chance before the COVID. Now it's a bit difficult, but we had the chance in a nice period of uh, yeah. So I think there was a nice period between 2004 to 7 to 8. Then there was a bit decline of the album selling. Then there was
Mm,
some
mm.
then it went again. But now it's yeah, we are restarting the
Things are starting to get better, isn't it,
yeah.
post the pandemic?
We hope so anyway. It's not that easy for a lot of musicians who lost a lot of work, a lot of energy, especially because it's not only
Yeah.
material side, but there is also this energy to restart again careers or field which was already difficult, but with the pandemic it becomes worse. And I think now there is it will restart slowly. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. How old is this instrument, darbuka, and where exactly do you have this more popular in Tunisia? Is it in the villages?
It's folk and it's also academic. Like you find this in the conservatory with I mean in the classical orchestra, let's say, and
Mm,
also it's an instrument available for anyone in the villages, in the cities.
right,
So
right.
yeah, darbuka is the most popular percussion, and then you have different way, of course, of playing it and different musical styles that uh, go with it. For example, you have the popular, or we call it the popular music,
Mm-hmm.
which for me not usually very positive word, but any music is popular for me,
Sure.
academic or not. But yeah, the music that we play in the weddings, for example, is it's usually traditional songs. It's the same all over the world, by the way, because it's the common heritage
Yes.
uh, that people share together, and so they don't uh, take in consideration the techniques or say, but the most important thing is playing, is the happiness, is the gathering. And then you have the darbuka is used in different styles, in the classical Andalusian music, Turkish music, because the Ottoman Empire was present in Tunisia for 5 centuries,
Mm,
and also the Andalusian were expelled from Spain in 1492. So many Jewish people came to Tunisia. They brought to, with them also a new culture and new musical
yeah.
makams like the Malouf music.
Mm,
And so, yeah, it's used in this different. Now it's used in rock music. Now the darbuka is a French instrument, English instrument. You find it in Rajasthan also. I mean, Dino Banjara, a friend of mine who plays in Rajasthan, he used in his percussion set darbuka. You can find this in Brazil, and the same now. The world has completely globalized and changed, so
mm,
we
mm.
also use tabla in Morocco, and we use congas from Cuba in France. So yeah, there is some instruments that become really global instruments now.
Such an amazing thing because all these various percussion, they try to unify different cultures. They bring people together. So that's also another very important factor. Bring people together. Did you really want to become a musician or a professional drummer right from a young age, or was it just happened by chance?
It happens not by chance but by circumstances of life.
Right.
I came here to study, and in our societies, almost like India, the families put a lot of pressure on the children to study and to
Mm,
finish a diploma and be proud of that.
mm,
So I used to play, but in my mentality that I perceived from the society and the family. For me, the music is something aside. When I
mm,
arrived to France, I met a band. They liked my way playing to their book, and they said, "You should come with us in tour." I said, "The tour, but I have university courses." They said, "No, but this is a professional work." It was the first time I understood that there is people who live from music. So it was surprising for me, and they said, and they spent a lot of time to think about it and to think that it's not easy to to cut with the social pressure
yeah.
immediately. So yeah, I think it wasn't an easy exercise, but it was psychological and sociological work, because at the same time you understand why you are afraid, why you are just scared about
Yeah.
doing what you like. And finally, even you like something, you don't know that you like that. That's why the question is you asked is very interesting. Did you know from the early age that you will be professional drummer? No, because they don't give us the chance to know what we want. I'm sorry to say this, but this is the whole question in our so-called Oriental world. And here
Yeah.
in France, I remember I met families. They say, "Do you want to be a dancer? Do you want to be classical musician?" So it's very open, and families encourage this side. Of course, they are they protect children, and but there is a lot of prejudice about music
Sure.
in the Arab world, and also in the, I mean, let's say a big part of the world, because they combine, or they make a link between music and drugs, and I don't know,
So you
or
really followed your passion, and that's where you are today.
yes, yes. We arrived to the conclusion that it wasn't easy, but I arrived to my passion and to understand that I really like this and I want to be professional. Then I really discovered that I was happy inside. That my life has completely changed because I gave time to this passion.
Mm,
And to give time to discussion, you understand it's a real work, and you should work hard as much as any other work. And
yeah.
that there is a big false prejudice about artists and music, that they are not working so hard, but it's false. And also there is an academic work, and
Yeah.
then we started learning jazz music and learning also about the cultural policies and cultural diplomacy.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Fantastic. Would you recommend any one of the Tunisian musician or percussionist that we could listen to? Besides you, of course.
No, no, no. Of course, I mean, I'm not one of I consider of the best percussionists that we have in Tunisia. I can say I'm a lucky percussionist because opportunity is the most important thing. I know a lot of technical, I mean, a lot of good percussionists with technical skills, but they didn't have the chance to meet other people, to go out of the country. And this is a problem that we have elsewhere, because I think meeting people, traveling, it's already another school that give you the opportunity to listen to electronic, to rock, to traditional music from Uzbekistan or from Cuba. Yes, there is a lot of good percussionists, but I will recommend a friend and a good musician called Dafer Youssef, who is a jazz musician mixing Sufi tradition with jazz.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I really liked his work, and he worked very hard to release a lot of albums, and he's quite known now. I'm very proud of him.
Fantastic. You said it rightly, Imed. We need the right exposure to listen to. You need to have the opportunities along your way, so that
Exactly.
that will give you an opportunity to collaborate, with people and explore further. Yes, thanks for
Absolutely.
recommending the great musician. So, what is your main focus as a percussionist? The main percussion that you
Ah,
are an expert. You're
well,
exponent of darbuka, right?
yes. Well, I started by darbuka, but as I said before, now we have this kind of world music or global percussion set. It's mixed between drums, between udu, djembe, cajon. You can find a lot of different sounds, and this is also I learned from a friend called Luis Nascimento, who is a Brazilian great percussionist. And when I arrived to France, I really liked his set and how he brings together different sounds. And it's really question of sound more than technique. You know, they have this
Mm.
beautiful sound of cajon with udu, and you can hear India, and at the same time you can hear Brazil and North Africa. And I think we arrived to a moment we work more on sound than the technique. Where we are in the service of music, on the service of the musicians and the music itself than ourselves. I mean, we are not here to do a lot of solos. Of course we do, but the main goal is to be here on the service of the art, in the service of music.
So beautifully put. I
Yeah.
can't agree anymore with you. You are the director of the Carthage International Festival. So tell
Mhm.
me something about this festival. What was the passion behind this?
It comes after the revolution in Tunisia in 2011, and as so many Tunisian, I want to help the country as much I can. And in the cultural field, I I got some experience, and I said I will come back to help some young people, which is I'm still doing. At the meantime, the government asked me to direct the Journée Musicale de Carthage, which is the Carthage Music Days, a different festival which is focused on the emergent
Mm.
talents in not only in Tunisia but also in Africa and the Middle East. I really like the idea to invite a lot of professionals from Europe and from different countries that I know in Tunisia and show them the new emerging scene. And it was quite a success in 2017 and 2019. Then the Minister of Culture at that time appointed me as director of the most prestigious festivals in Africa, the Carthage Music Festival, which is held in July, August every year. And it's a big opportunity and a very delicate opportunity too, because it's a very prestigious festival. Since 1964, this festival was born, and
So where does this happen?
2020. So it
So
arrived
which
exactly
place? Which
in
place does?
Carthage. In Carthage, as historical site, there is the amphitheater of Carthage, which is also a prestigious amphitheater since the third century. It was built during the Roman Empire that just came after the Carthage, Rome, Punic Third War.
Right. So
They
it's got
three.
a long history behind it, isn't it?
Of course, of course.
So
It's
you
the
call
third
it, I'm
century.
sorry for my mispronunciation, it's called the Carthage International Festival.
Yes, the Carthage International Festival and the amphitheater of Carthage, and it's a big history because here also the festival was, as I said, was established in 1964, but there was a big history behind, and the festival was here to also a tool to enhance the heritage of Carthage and to
Mm.
highlight the monuments, to highlight the all the material and non-material heritage of the city of Carthage. So for me, it was also a come back to this work, and we worked on the archives of the festival since the beginnings.
Mm.
And unfortunately, there was the COVID when I arrived to the festival, so it was postponed twice. Very frustrating, but we are working again. I hope for next edition.
I really wish you all the very best for a successful festival. As a musician and as a composer, how did you find the collaboration with other genre of music? And what is your most memorable collaboration till date? One of them. I know, I'm sure you will have many.
Yeah. Well, I told you about this collaboration with this Cacan from La Réunion, but I think that Justin Adams from London was one of my best collaboration because it was my first solo album in
Mm.
Safar, in which I summarized a lot of these travels and collaboration. So Justin was also he gave me a lot of force and courage and encouraged me to release the album, and I'm very thankful for him.
Fantastic. So, coming back to our World Music Conference, what are your views about the conference theme for this year? And as our global ambassador, how do you envisage we take this further in the years?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for appointing me ambassador because it's a big honor and responsibility at the same time. I feel like
Mutual.
I have, and thank you. Um, in parallel of my career as a musician and percussionist and festival director, I also worked a lot with children and worked a lot with teenagers also in Tunisia, but with children in France, in Tunisia, and from an early age. And I know the relationship that they have with percussion, especially. And yes, the theme of education and music and children and I think I started it spontaneously. I didn't know how much affecting music, affecting the, the child, affecting and how sensitive they are to the rhythm. And I really worked with like 5 years old children to now they are 15. Sometimes they are from this the primary school, secondary school to the lycée here, the system, educational system in France. And I got a lot of pleasure to understand this mechanism of exchange between without a lot of pedagogy, but there is a natural language, and how music and percussion can enhance the education and the understanding of the child to the word, to the music. Not only music, but also the spelling, the rhythm, and as I told you last time, the body language,
Yes.
being quite at ease with his body and with his rhythm, and how it's important before you started the class to have these 15 minutes of
Warm up,
music.
maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
What is your vision for the next 5 years?
Well, I'm now working for an album which will be released at the end of the year. I will continue to be consultant. I will continue to work in the music field as a musician, but I also uh, try to stabilize a little bit my private life by
Mm,
stabilizing also my work, and less I have this tendency to do a lot of things at the same time. So
sure.
I would like to concentrate on music and also on consultancy.
Fantastic. I really want to wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. We now
Thank
move on to the next segment of the chat, which is called the lighter side of you. How would you describe Imed in 3 words?
Global citizen,
Mhm.
active, and open-minded.
Your favorite holiday destination?
My favorite holiday destination is still Tunisia.
Your favorite cuisine?
World cuisine in general.
World cuisine.
Yes,
Right.
like Korean, Indian, Vietnamese, Thai, Tunisian, French, Italian. Yeah.
Right. What would you have been if you were not a musician?
I would work for an international organization.
So, with this, we come to the end of this very interesting and lively chat. I want to thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and have a